I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I would beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the fifth round. As always, your boy, Steven Musteris. And, man, UFC 276 this past weekend, 4th of July weekend. We had, it was jam-packed. I think PFL was on Friday. I think the only thing missing really was like a Bellator card or something. But, international fight week for the UFC. Vegas, it looked like it was popping. I was keeping up with it all weekend. It looked fun. I need to get out there for one of them. I remember a couple months ago when I looked to get tickets for UFC 276, it was way too expensive for me to be flying there just for a night or two. And, yeah, who knows. But one day we're going to go for sure. But, just off the top of my head before I get too crazy into the storylines, some amazing performances. Macy Barber looked amazing. Andre Muniz looked amazing. Jim Miller's finish over Donald Cerrone, amazing. Sad that Donald Cerrone retired, but still amazing performance for Jim Miller. We can go on for days. Duplessis looked amazing. I shouldn't say amazing, but he put on a great fight. You got the Robbie Lawler, Brian Barberina fight, which I've been talking. I wish it was on the main card forever, and then they finally did. Thank gosh that you never want any of our fighters to pull out because they're sick or anything like COVID or injury, but it kind of worked out that Lauren Murphy pulled out against Miesha Tate, so we got to see that fight, and man, it lived up to it. But just all around, I thought it was some solid performances all around. Ian Gary looked phenomenal, but I think the outside of the two main events, two title fights, I should say, I think most of us were probably really, really looking forward to the Sugar Sean O'Malley fight against Pedro Munoz. And man, I can't sit here and break down the fight too much. Not like much happened. I know I've seen a lot of people like toss and turn in if they thought, Sugar Sean O'Malley was on the way to win that fight. A lot of people are saying it was boring. I saw a couple out there. I think Munoz won the first round. All in all, I thought Sugar Show was looking good, at least on the distance like he always does. It was a way more relaxed and, timid fighter isn't Sugar Sean for once because, he's finally going up against somebody that could put his lights out with one punch in a way, way higher step in competition. But I thought he still looked good. He still had the charisma. I thought it was pretty funny there at the end of the first round. I'll probably have something up in the middle of the screen here. But, Pedro Munoz went with that spinning heel kick and didn't even get close to him. I think he was probably like 6 feet away from him. And then literally with like 4 seconds left in the round, I think Sugar Sean does a fake spin and makes it funny. And I remember hearing the crowd laugh. And then second round, I really thought he was starting to really frustrate Pedro Munoz. Clearly, I'm not sitting here and shitting on Munoz at all. I just could. I really thought you could tell Munoz was starting to get real frustrated, and the little eye poke that was more like a shove. It wasn't that terrible. And I saw that he had like a cornea something went on. It wasn't a rip of the cornea or nothing or a tear or detachment or anything, but it was something. Definitely scratched it or did some sort of, I don't know. I forget what the medical record said, but still. During the moment, it kind of felt like Pedro Munoz, as soon as it happened, it could tell the way he was closing his eyes, which, I've been poking the eye before. Luckily, never in sparring or anything because we always wear boxing gloves, but I have in basketball, came down on a rebound one time, dude went probably 2 knuckles deep in my fucking eye, and I'll never forget, it was probably the worst feeling ever. So, it's easy to sit there and look at these guys on TV and be like, oh, what a pussy, but it did feel, as soon as it happened, it looked like Pedro Munoz was kind of looking for the way out. I remember looking at my friend and be like, oh, this fight's over. As fucked up as it is, it's over. I can just see in his face he doesn't want to keep going. And you can tell the differences usually. Don't get me wrong, you got the confused fighter sometimes that's a little honest and says, no, I can't go on, or I can't see, and then they don't realize they're about to get the fight called, and then when the fight gets called, they're like, well, I can see. But Pedro Munoz instantly was like, no, look, I can't see. You could see it in him. It just looked like his whole energy was kind of out the window, which, don't get me wrong, could have been a legitimate injury, which I'm not sitting here calling him a pussy, but it did look like he wanted that way out of the fight. So, for Pedro Munoz, I think it's good for him because now, he took the loss. You can sit there and kind of be like, oh, it didn't even get started. And for Sugar Show, I mean, for as good as it was looking, even if he would have cruised to a decision win against Pedro Munoz, like, we all would have been pretty happy about it. I don't think anybody would have been judging him for not getting a knockout against Pedro fucking Munoz, but it did. I think it did take a real big hit. I mean, I'm on the Sugar Show. I'm on the Sugar train. And to see him do that, like, after the fight was called, he did his little between the legs and a little Kobe fader and kind of had the celebration. That part, for me as a competitor, I feel like I wouldn't be doing just because I didn't clearly beat the dude in 3 rounds, you know, or knock him out or anything. That one, for me, was a little but, I mean, it's a Sugar Show. For him, it's like, man, I just went in there, didn't get touched at all, and I know it was only a round and a half, but still didn't get touched. Felt good. Felt like I was winning. You know, that's a big one for him against a competitor that a lot of people thought that he didn't have a chance against. So I could see why he did it, but I just think it really, can't say it hurts him. It's not like he lost, but that moment right there it was almost like his coming out party. You know, it's always, those fighters always have that one huge fight. Like even the Hamzat against Gilbert Burns. I mean, look at that. Like a perfect example right now. Like these guys have those chances to like really take that next step forward, and like Jorge knocking out Darren Till. You know, like there's certain ones. You know, like I can go on for days if I wanted to make a list, but all these guys that are up and comers all have that one moment. Like John Jones had a couple, but it was like Ryan Bader fight was probably the one. And it didn't get as much love as it should have because, like, literally a week and a half later, he jumped in for the Lyoto Machida and fought Shogun Rua. So, I mean, that was his coming out party. Beat the fuck out of Shogun Rua. So, like, I thought that was it. I thought Sugar Sean was about to have his moment, and sadly, it just never happened. And I'm excited to see where they go with it because he did look good for his. You can sit there and say it was terrible because he didn't get the finish or whatever, but still, he was looking good. Distance was looking good. Speed was looking good. I don't know. I just really hope that they don't hurt him too much and, you know, kind of take another step back. Like, wouldn't be mad at the rematch, but if Munoz's eye is pretty fucked up like that, I really want to see him get that Cheeto fight back or somebody, you know, somebody around the same level, this skill. So you never know. This shit could get weird, but still on the Sugar Sean show. Like I like the Dominic Cruz fight as well. Yeah, there's a bunch of fights out there for him. He's not hurting, but. You know, feel bad for the fans. They kind of lost out because I kind of really thought I thought Sugar was starting to get a lot of momentum in that fight, and I thought he maybe could have finished Munoz. So, but hey, we'll never know. And all in all, it's still a great card. But you know, it's been the 5th round. As always, your boy Steven Musteris, and I hope you guys all have a good one.